Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Again, we're a little bit early. We're 2 or 3 minutes early, just checking to see that everything's working, and just waiting for people to come and join, and then we'll see where we're going to go from there. So I hope everybody's well today, everybody's happy, and everybody's having a good time. Today it's a little bit overcast, it's a little bit cloudy. We might get a bit of rain as we're going on, but never mind. It's still nice warm. I've still got the fan on in the background, and to keep cool, because we're still in rainy season. It's still a little bit. The humid is still quite high. Okay, I'll just check to see that everything's working on the speech. Yeah, hello, everybody. Everything's working. So we've got 11 people in. Just let me know if the picture's okay and the sound is okay. Just leave something in the comments, and then I know that everybody can hear me wherever. But thanks very much for everybody for joining us. As I said, it's nice. I like doing these live streams. It's good because it's interactive and people can talk and ask whatever questions that they want. Okie dokie, that's that. So if anybody has got any questions, please put a capital Q before, and then when I see the scrolling messages go down, then I know that somebody's got a question, and then we can go from there. And I do apologize if I miss your question. If it scrolls up with amongst all the scrolls, and it's not because I'm ignoring it, it's just probably I'm giving a bigger answer to one of the other questions. Greetings from Hua Hin. We had 0 rain season. Yeah. Again, I've watched a couple of people on Ben up north type of thing, and somebody from Karat. They've had quite a lot of rain. I think we only had 2 or 3 days of where it rained quite heavily. We've had spots and spits, or spits and spots. There's a song about that, I'm sure. But when all said and done, it's the rainy season, isn't it? The rainy season only lasts for about 3 or 4 months, but it's quite good because it brings the cooler air in, and everything just shoots up. It really grows very, very quickly here. So I've cut that hedge the other day, and I've got the other hedge to cut over there. The mundane things that what you've got, no matter where you live in the world, if you've got a garden or a house type of thing, there's maintenance to be done. So I live in a holiday location, but I still have to do the daily chores, keeping the house up and running and going. So what we're going to be talking about today, there's many things to talk about today, as usually are every 2 weeks. Various things happen. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through some of the things that sort of happening in Thailand at the minute. And I don't know what the Thai government are doing, or the people who are in charge of running everything, what they're doing, because they say tourism is down, and by all accounts, talking to people, various places, there is a distinct lack of tourists, even here in Rayong, which isn't on the tourist map, but you can tell there's lack of tourists here. But Thailand, for me, is sort of shooting themselves in the foot with regard to Thailand. Again, just what they've announced just lately as well, and I'll come on to further explanations about this, about how important it is, why to have a license and things like that. But it's under public consultation. Your international driving permits, which you needed to have over here when you're driving a car or a motorbike, as well as your driving license, they're having a public consultation, and they're going to be no longer accepting your international driver's license. If you want to be able to drive over here in Thailand, even on a tourist visa, how they're going to do it, I have no idea. But they're going to insist that you take the driving test, or the written part of the test. If you want to get a temporary license to drive here, like for instance, if you're on the GTV visa or retirement visa or long stay visa, and you're wanting a Thai driver's license, because in reality, your international driver's license only lasts for 90 days here. Then you're supposed to be able to get a Thai driver's license. But whereas before you could go and get a temporary driver's license, the first one's 2 years and then it goes up to 5 years. You could get one automatically if you had an international driver's permit. But they're doing away with that, and they're going to make everybody take a test. It's just crazy, isn't it? It's just another sort of nail in the coffin for making it difficult. I mean, they have their laws. I've got nothing against it. Thailand do whatever they want to do, as do our own home countries. To some people, our laws in our countries are silly. I mean, our laws in our country in the UK are letting illegal immigrants come to England with no form of identification, and we give them everything, absolutely everything. Again, I'm against that. So again, every country has its own little laws, and they do what they need to do. So anyway, we've been going for 6 minutes now, but retired and living the dream. This is my Australia mug. So it's for all those people in Australia. It looks as if it's the right way up. Hi, Bill. Thanks for joining me. As always, thanks very much. Brian S. Hi, Les. Thanks very much. Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome. So, yeah, going on about the driver's licenses, it is important that you're insured whilst you're over here. And again, if you don't have the appropriate driver's license and you do have an accident on a motorbike, then you're not insured if you don't have the appropriate licenses. And again, it was on the news this morning that Thailand, if you get caught drunk driving, they're going to repossess your car now. Whereas before, they never repossessed your car or took your car, put it into a compound. Now they're looking at doing that if you're drink driving, they will still find you and repossess your car. Whereas in my view of it, it's just requesting another bigger, browner envelope, because there's people that I personally know have been drinking and driving, and the police have stopped them, and they've given them a little brown envelope, helped them with their tea money collection, and they've driven home. Now, in the UK, that would never, ever, ever, ever happen. Your car would be impounded, you'd be going to court, you'd be banned for driving for at least a year. So this is what they're going to do. They've already brought in mandatory driving with their helmets now, because it's gone up from a 500 baht fine to a 2,000 baht fine. Is that working? No, not what I can see. In Rayong, especially where I live up the villages, people are still driving around with no helmets. Again, it's just one of them other things. They say they're going to do it. They need to stop everybody. I've seen people park next to a policeman on a motorbike with no helmet on. Unless the police are having a purge and collecting all the money, then people just ignore the rule. Again, a guy just gone by there, no helmet on. Somebody's coming across now, back the other way, no helmet on. I always wear a helmet. And I'm going to come on to having an accident on a motorbike with no helmet on, and the result, because my friend has just had an accident on a motorbike, no helmet, and I can go through the statistics of it, because we took him to the hospital, or we met him at the hospital, because the ambulance took him to the hospital, how much he was charged in the hospital and how much he has to pay, and the sort of outcome from everything like that, because he's gone back to carry on his holiday, but in a lot of pain, and thankfully he walked away from it, but he's still in a lot of pain, and we'll go through that in a minute. Hey Les, good to see you, good information, you're the best. Scott from New Zealand. Thanks as always, Scott from New Zealand. I try to be, the information that I give, I've looked at it, everything. There's certainly no BS that I give as far as information is concerned on here. And if I'm wrong, then I stand to be corrected. Just checking you're coming in loud and clear as if you were down the road. That's very, very good. Thank you very much. Hi from Moodentani, watching while really tempted to big slice of cake, bloody keto diet. Keto diet. Yeah, I'm still on the keto diet. I'm down to 98 from 106.6. And I've stuck on 98 for the past week and a half. My friend who I used to work with in the UK came to visit us, and we went to a festival the other day, and I had chicken on a stick and pork things, but the coating that they put on it was obviously laced in sugar. So that sort of knocked me out of keto for a couple of days. And I did weaken because I had an ice cream in the tub, but not the cone as well. So yeah, I've stuck at 98 for maybe 3 or 4 days now, but I know it's working. It's still coming off, and I've still lost 8 kilos, which is just over a stone, and I'm over the moon with that. And I'm still on track. I want to get down to 90 kilos, and I'll come off the wagon again on the 2nd of next month because it's my birthday. So we're off to Koh Chang for a couple of days. So I know I'm going to come off the keto. I know I'm going to be a bit naughty, but when we come back on the 4th or the 5th of July, I'm back on the keto bandwagon, going down to 90 kilos. That's me goal. So I've got another, in reality, 8 kilos to go, which isn't a difficult thing to do because I've lost 8 kilos already in 6 weeks. So it can be done. It can be done. So yeah, as much as I love a piece of cake, keep it up with the keto. It's worth it in the end. So what was it called? Oh yeah, about the motorbike accident, my friend. Okay, I'll tell you the story about the motorbike accident. I think my pension would be 35,000 baht from New Zealand if I live in Thailand. Yeah, 35,000. It's livable, but it there won't be bells and whistles on it. But it certainly can be done because I went through an exercise with a guy earlier on this year, and £1,000 sort of, he still had £250 left every month. So that puts it down to £750 he could live on here, and he could live in a condo across the road from the beach. He could still have 1 or 2 beers a week and all his food. And he had £250 a month left over for adult entertainment if you so desire, or if you want to put it in together. So that's £500 every 2 months. So you could have a really, really good spending spree on £500. So anyway, getting back to my friend who had the motorbike accident, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Again, he was a firefighter, same as me. And we'd worked together in various shifts, and he's just retired now. He's 55 years old, and he's bit the bullet, and he's coming over to here to Thailand to live full time. Now he lives up in Surin, so he decided to come down, him and his wife, to come and see us, and we spent a couple of days traveling about type of thing. And the other night we went to a festival, and so we got back about 9 o'clock. Pardon me, on the evening. Now we went to the festival in the car, but he left his motorbike at my place. So when we got back to my place, because I live in a semi-rural location, the streets were very, very dark, and his wife was a little bit scared because, in an area that they didn't really know and very, very dark. So I said to them, I'll drive them to the main road so they can follow me. I know the way, and I'll take you to the main road. Then it's just one long main road for about 25 minutes, and then they'll get back to their hotel. So off he went, took him to the main road, said me goodbyes, and have a safe trip, and I'll see him later on during the year. So I was driving home. I was no more than 7 minutes away from home. An employee rang up, and she was on the phone, and I thought she wanted me to get something from 7-Eleven. And she said, Les, he's had an accident. So she's hurt, he's hurt. So I said, well, I've only left him literally minutes ago. So anyway, so I picked my wife up, and then we go back to where they had the accident. And sure enough, there's the ambulance there. There was like 2 ambulances, the rescue car, the bike was on the floor, loads of people, loads of blood, and he was sat there shaking on the chair type of thing. I said, what happened? And a soy dog ran out in front of him. He seen the dog, he braked because he thought, is he going to run in front of us? Is he not? And he let loose of the brake, and then the soy dog ran, and he ran right in front of him and knocked him off his motorbike. So he all basically down one side of the body. He's all scraped, gravel rash and stuff like that. He didn't have a helmet on, and I shout at everybody who doesn't have a helmet on, it's stupid. And I told him he was stupid for riding without a helmet on. His wife didn't have a helmet on either. So he had a big scrape on the side of his cheek. And so he obviously hit his head on the road. He thinks he was knocked out because he realized his wife was shouting, Tony, Tony, Tony. And then he sort of regained consciousness. So he was very, very lucky. The ambulance took him to the hospital, and we followed the ambulance. And I've got to say, he was taken to the public hospital in Rayong, which is about, from where they had the accidents, a good 30-35 minutes away. They went under blue lights and sirens. So we just stuck to so we got there, and he was already in to see the doctor in the emergency department, him and his wife. And literally 1.5 hours of getting to the hospital. We were coming out of the hospital, and I took him back to his hotel room. And so 1.5 hours and A&E. I mean, when I went to A&E a number of years ago, I was there for 5 hours before I went to see the doctor. And the price for going to see a doctor and bandages, he had a lot of bandages all down one arm, on his knuckles, on his ankle, on his leg. So he had a lot of bandages, and he got some medication for painkillers and infection type of thing. Public hospital, how much do you think it was going to cost? Put your comments down on the questions type of thing. How much do you think it was going to cost him? Because he was worried how much it was going to cost him going to hospital, as everybody is. And this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about this, is that so many people think it's going to be expensive if you go to the hospital. And then the story goes on from here as well. So give me 2 or 3 minutes and I'll tell you exactly how much the cost was at the hospital. So anyway, going from that, before I tell you what the cost was, the other, the police at the incident wanted to know how much, the insurance details of the motorbike, where it's from. So we contacted the resort where he hired the motorbike from, told them that they had the accident and we needed his insurance documents, to be able to look at all of these things and make sure that everything was in order. And again, a whisper from some of the paramedic or the people that turned up, you were wearing a helmet. Yeah, I get the message. So we contacted the resort. Thankfully, the bike wasn't too damaged. The dog had run off. Nobody's seen the dog, because in Thailand, if the dog belongs to somebody and the dog ran out and you can prove that the owner of the dog was responsible because it wasn't on the lead or tied up, then you could claim against the pet owner or the dog owner. But nobody could find the dog. Off it went. Likelihood it was just a soy dog anyway, so you can't claim on that. So the insurance, hopefully, if it was going to have any treatment in the hospital, the insurance would have paid. But as it was, they were only in the hospital for 1.5 hours and then they were released. So we've got, this is a public hospital, by the way. They did ask us where because my wife, obviously, she's Thai. She could speak to the ambulance and the paramedics and the police and everything else like that. And because my friend was in shock and his wife was in shock. So we sort of stepped in and we negotiated everything. And we said, take him to the public hospital. Take him to the public hospital, because then we knew he was going to get treated and it wasn't going to cost an arm and a leg, literally. So yeah, we've got some guesses here. 900 baht, 6,000 baht, 1,000 baht for both, 2,000 baht. Probably not the time to chastise someone for not wearing a helmet. No, I told him not to, I told him before he had the accident that he was silly for not wearing a helmet. And I tell everybody, shouldn't be wearing a helmet. And when all said and done, he was a firefighter, same as me. And we went to loads and loads of road traffic accidents with motorbikes and cars, and we seen the results of these things. So I'm a little bit disappointed that he didn't wear a helmet, but that's your choice at the end of the day, isn't it? So yeah, I still chastised. I still told him off because he had the scraping on his head, and I said, "You're very lucky that you're still here." And he realizes that now as well. 1,000 baht for both. I must have done wear a helmet in the village. My son 11 and running about on a motorbike in the village. My sister-in-law was 9, no helmet. Again, it's crazy not to wear a helmet. In my mind, I always wear a helmet. So yeah, anyway, getting back to the price, it was 350 baht. 350 baht for both of them. So she had bandages on her arms, on her knee. I think she broke her finger, and he had bandages all down one arm, over his knuckles, on his leg, on his ankle, on his toes. So he had a lot of bandages, and they asked him whether he wanted an X-ray because he hurt his ribs as well. But he said no, because he was scared of how much it was going to cost all of this lot, and he was shocked when we went to the payment. The ambulance didn't cost him anything for that. And again, 350 baht. He was, as over the moon isn't the right expression. I'm struggling to find the words. That he was just shocked. He thought 3,500, 350 baht. So 350 baht in a public hospital for 2 people to be seen by the doctor and get bandaged. Now, the quality of the bandaging wasn't the best that I've ever seen, but when all said and done, he had been looked at by a doctor and, had his wounds cleaned and some bandages put on. So 350 baht for a public hospital. Now, again, some of them prices in there that people have put 1,000, 2,000 baht. If it had gone to the Bangkok hospital, it would have been double that. And they would have probably said, oh, as you banged your head, you should be in, for the night. So they would have just padded the costs, I'm sure. So don't be afraid of going to the public hospital. It's not going to cost an arm and a leg, if you like, for doing that. But what did cost a little bit more was when he went to the clinic the following day, because they said he needs to go to a clinic every day to get the bandages taken off, cleaned up, and then fresh bandages put on. So we took him to the clinic the following day, and he was in the clinic for almost 2 hours, being inspected by a doctor, had all his wounds cleaned and redressed. And when he came out, he was just looked like a mummy, because they put a lot more bandages on, and he said they cleaned absolutely every single wound on my body. And he had a lot of cuts and scrapes and bangs and wallops type of thing. And the bandaging that they put on was sort of superb. It really, really was. But again, the cost for that in the clinic, because his wife had a finger brace put on as well, because I think they suspect it was broken. So they did a lot of work. She was in for about an hour with a doctor and getting bandages and the nurse, and he was in there for 2 hours. So the total cost of that was just over 4,500 baht in the clinic. And he had an injection of tetanus because he had lots of scrapes, and medication, stronger medication, pain relief and stuff like that. So it was more expensive in the clinic, 4,500, but the quality of the bandaging and the injections and stuff like that was far better than it was at the hospital. So he's licking his wounds now. He's very, very sore, very, very in pain. But he can, he lives to tell the tale. And hopefully, fingers crossed, now he'll always put a helmet on. And he's been coming to Thailand for 30 years, never, ever had an accident. And leaving my house to go back to the hotel, he had an accident. Sad. Literally, From where I dropped him off, it was maybe 2 minutes to where he had the accident. So going on from that, and the story still continues from that, was the insurance for the motorbike. We got told by the police that we had to go inform the accident to the police, and the following day then we got the clinic and things like that. And at the hotel, we found out that the bike was not insured. Yeah, could you believe it? The bike wasn't insured at all. It was lapsed, and it was lapsed by a year. So it wasn't just out of date 1 or 2 weeks. It was out of date by a year. So had he had the accident and hurt somebody else, then he would have had to pay, obviously, for any damage or any injury to a third party because the bike wasn't insured. So this just goes to show you learn something every single day here in Thailand, and I'm still learning. And this is a learning curve for me as well. And I'll tell every single person, if you rent a car or rent a motorbike, make sure that it's got the insurance details with it, with the motorbike, and it's taxed, because God forbid you do have an accident. It's even worse then, because you haven't got the insurance for the motorbike. It's up to the hotel owner or the person who rents the motorbike to you to ensure that it is properly insured. But this guy just took it on faith because he was renting a motorbike, and they said, okay, we'll get you one. And it took a couple of hours or so before they brought the motorbike up. It looked like a relatively new motorbike as well. And again, I'll come on to how much it costs for the damage for the motorbike as well, how much he got charged. So it's a long story, this one, isn't it? Hang on, let me read a couple of these before we get onto that. Evil Knievel heart, yeah, Evil Knievel, yeah. Did they pour alcohol into the wound? I don't know, but he winced, he said, so he's got to have something. Saw cat, Chiang Rai, and yellow eye and blue eye. Why that? I don't know. Come on, everybody, hit the like buttons. I can't see how many likes it is, so yeah, give it a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. It all counts. Les, you know if you need separate motorcycle insurance. If so, where from? Les, do you know if no, you don't need separate, because the motorbike, it's the vehicle that's insured, not you. I would suggest that everybody gets accident insurance for sure, because you're more likely to have an accident over you than have a medical condition. So no, it's the vehicle that should be insured, but it's up to you to, I would say, check 100%. Ask them, show me the insurance certificate, and then you know for guaranteed that it's insured. Because, you know, God forbid if you hit a car or hit somebody else, a pedestrian or somebody like that, it could have ended up costing him millions of baht because he didn't check. How the rules just changed for tourists and driving, the rules are just changing for tourists for the driving license. I mentioned that a little bit earlier on. Work in Africa, need malaria medication, private hospital 2K, and local hospital 100 baht. Yeah, it can be a big difference, can't it? So yes, anyway, going back to the accident on the bike. Now he had a little bit of clout against about the person who rented him the bike, should I say, because they were saying, oh, you know, you've scratched the bike. And now he said that he'd already had scratches on the bike, but he failed to take a picture. I mean, when all said and done, he reckoned he came off at 20-25 kilometers an hour. He wasn't a speeder. He didn't drive very fast because his wife doesn't like being on the back of the motorbike when it's dark anyway, so she always kept telling him slow. So he wasn't going fast, so don't get me wrong, but even at 20 kilometers an hour, you know, when you scrape along the road, it's going to hurt. So anyway, he never took a video of the bike and what damage that was already done. And when I looked at the bike, there was no scuffs on the wing mirror. There wasn't the brake lever wasn't bent or twisted. So it was just as if you fell over, and it did have a few scrapes on, but whether he'd caused them or whether the previous person caused them, I don't know. But again, when we were back at the hotel and we were sort of discussing this with the management, if you like, my wife was doing all the talk, and then we found out that the motorbike wasn't insured. So then we had a bit of clout. We had a little bit of argument, because then the woman says, no need to go to the police, no need to go to the police. So she was scared that we went to the police, because she could then be in trouble for renting a motorbike out that was a year out of tax and out of insurance. So we had a little bit of negotiations, and she kept saying, I'm going to take it to Honda to get fixed. You know, whatever the price is going to be that. Now, I've heard some horror stories for if you have an accident on a motorbike. Some people try to claim that you bent the frame and all sorts of things and charge you 55,000 baht for a new motorbike. And so I said to my friend, I said, the likelihood is that they're going to come in at a high insurance cost or high rate to getting it repaired. But I said, you've got some ammunition here that you've rented from a respectable resort, and they rented you a motorcycle that wasn't insured. And I said, if you give a bad publicity on the booking.com where you book the hotel, I said, that's going to do more damage to them than going to the police. So anyway, long story short, we sorted it out, and she took it to a motorbike shop, just a normal motorbike shop, not a Honda shop. And when all said and done, it was acceptable. 1,700 bahts worth of damage, just replacing two of the panels, which I doubt will get replaced at all. So when all said and done, that little bit of an accident has cost him probably towards 10,000 baht for having a motorbike accident. But thankfully, and fingers crossed, he walked away. Although he's licking his wounds now and he's in severe pain with everything, because everything's, drying up now. And I seen him yesterday. He's gone back to heading back towards home now. But he was in pain. So yeah, so there you go. That was my friend's motorcycle accident. When all said and done, went on for about 30 minutes. It was an interesting talk, and for those people who drive around without a helmet, don't do it. Put a helmet on, it's not worth it. The rest of your body can be bandaged and put up, but if you bang your head, crack your head, you're gone. So the other golden nugget to come out with this one is get accident insurance. So then at least if the motorbike or vehicle that you're traveling on isn't insured, you have personal accident insurance, and you can get quite a lot of accident insurance from your bank, from private insurance companies, and at least that's going to take care of something, because you're more likely to have an accident over here in Thailand than suffer an illness in some direction. So go for it. Go and get insurance, accident insurance. It's not expensive, and you can get a lot of insurance cover for not a lot of money. And even I'm going to go and get accident insurance. Although I've got medical insurance, I'm going to go and get accident insurance next week as well. I'll just hold that camera a bit. So even I think it's worth it to go and get it. Thank you, buddy, for your advice. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. I have a driver's license from the home state and the international driving permit for Thailand. Was informed that I needed a motorcycle endorsement and a helmet for the insurance to claim to be accepted. Any experience or any expense? Any experience? Yeah, a motorbike, like you do have to have it on your license or a separate motorbike. If you just have a car license and it's just got like various size vehicles, if you don't have a picture of a motorbike on it, then you've got to take the test, and you've got to go through the whole test to be able to get a motorcycle license. It's not difficult at all. It really, because I didn't have a motorbike license when I first came over here, and I went for the practical test, which takes all of 2 minutes. But then there was a 3-hour video to watch, and then there was written questions, which again isn't difficult. What is difficult is because the questions are in English. So if you're Spanish, Italian, German, and you can't read English and you can't read Thai, then it can be very, very difficult because all the questions are in English. And when I was doing my test, an Italian and a Spanish guy just guessed at what the answers were, and obviously they failed. So they had to do it again. So at least it's in English, and there's various companies that you can go with. And I think to get a car and a driver's license, a VIP experience where they help you through all of the process that you need to go through, because if you know they don't speak good English at the driver test places, so that's about 7,500 baht, but it's worth every single penny because you get whisked through the whole procedure, and you get a list of absolutely every question that there's possibly that they can ask you with all the answers as well. So you know, all you need to do is study the booklet, and all the answers and all the questions that you're going to get are in that booklet. So for 7,500 baht, why wouldn't you do it? You get whisked through the system, and it's not difficult to do. So yeah, I would say go for it. And if you haven't got your license, don't be tempted to drive without a license, because again, if you have an accident, then you're not insured. Bangkok Bank, $7,500. Is that for the insurance? Okay, I don't know how much is that for then. How many? You know, is it 1 million, 2 million, 3 million for that price? Decent accident insurance with the Pacific Cross, 9,000 Thai baht per year. Yeah, well, that's good. I mean, I think that's quite expensive, 9,000 a year. But who knows? You know, I mean, how much is that for? Found Chiang Rai boring place. Oh, I quite like Chiang Rai. Thank you, Stu Jones, for advice. Yeah, okay, so moving on from that. So yeah, that was a long story. So again, there's another guy that I know had an accident on a motorbike, an American guy, drinking and driving, and he'd only been in Thailand for 3 or 4 weeks. And because he's had a lot to drink and he thought he could drive the motorbike, he was on the wrong side of the road, and he collided with a truck, and he had to have 2 toes amputated because he hit the truck. Thankfully, he had a helmet on and he didn't actually come off his motorbike, but his foot came into contact with the rear wheel arch of the truck that he hit, and he had to pay for the damage to the truck, and he ended up having 2 toes amputated. Again, not a good experience to this. But again, you know, the dangers of drinking and driving in Thailand. Again, let's hope they do make it more strict for people who drink and drive. That is the one thing, my little pet here, because I don't drink and drive. I value my life and I value the life of my wife. That the fact that if we go to an event where everybody's having a drink, we'll stay in a resort or a cheap hotel room for the night. So then I can park the car up, have a good drink, sleep it off, then get up in the morning, have breakfast, and then drive home. You can get a hotel for 500 to 800 baht a night, cheap hotel, and that's far cheaper than if you have an accident and hurt somebody. So yeah, there's no need to drink and drive over here. You know, stay at a resort or a hotel. But there's a lot of people do it over here because the chances of getting stopped by the police are very, very rare that you're going to get, especially if you live up in the villages and things like that. So again, don't do it. It's not clever. And one day you will have an accident, that's for sure. I got a bike and a car license, just showed my UK license, watched the video, did a couple of tests, 210 baht. Yep, you can do. Again, I've just renewed my license, and that was 250 baht, I think it was, for my bike license. And I did the online video watched the online video for an hour, and then went. I did the tests, in and out by lunchtime. There 8 o'clock, and I was finished by 12. 250 baht. Now, apparently, they're going to change the licenses. If you've already had a license, there's going to be, again, they're just talking about this, whether it's going to happen or not. I don't know. But they're saying that if you can go for your license online shortly, and if you've already got a full driver's license, then there's no need to do any of the tests. You just apply for it online. And I tried to do that. Because it was only announced maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago, but they haven't brought it in yet. Or they've just, like everything else, Thailand, they'll talk about it and it'll take ages to implement. So that'll be good if you've already got I can't see why you have to do a test every 5 years, because you've already done the test, you've already got the license. So, but that's my little bit of, why. But it is Thailand. If they want to do it, they want to do it. But I can understand why there's so many Thai people don't have the license, because it can take up to a full day to sort your license out. It's crazy, and I think if you've got it, you've got it. Why need to do all the tests? So yeah, it's not a difficult thing, but it's time consuming to get your license. 1 baht wisdom, any fans? Of course, the ruin of many an expat. Yeah. Let's do the cups. Do the cups do Farang donation day for motorbike riders in Rayong like they do in Patti? Yes, they do. Yes, they have their daily collection times in Banpay. But I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing against that. I have my car insured, my bike insured. I always wear my helmet, so I fear them not, because I'm okay with them. But the people that are driving the motorbikes around with the helmet just hung on the handlebar, so they've got the helmet. Why not put the helmet on? And especially now when it's raining, driving around like that, and the helmet is hanging on the handlebars. Put your bloody helmet on. I've got no sympathy for those people who get injured or hurt without having a helmet on, and I have no sympathy for those people who end up having to pay 2,000 baht for a fine because it's compulsory to wear a helmet. That's what the law is: compulsory to wear a helmet over here in Thailand. But many people don't. That's the way it goes. Pretty girls there, yummy. Haha. There's pretty girls everywhere in Thailand. Okay, on to some other news now. COVID, that word that many people feared years and years and years ago. There was 12,000 cases in one single day here in Thailand. So it's here, it's again, and it's prevalent and it's spreading like wildfire. So beware. Like when we went to the hospital the other day, everybody had masks on, and some of the servers now in the 7-Eleven have got the masks back on. So the masks might be making a reappearance again in Thailand because people are scared of catching anything. So masks might be mandatory again in Thailand soon. 12,000 in one day. That's quite a lot, isn't it? What else have we got here? DTV visa problems, opening a bank account, things like that. Again, here's another scenario that Thailand are shooting themselves in the foot. They want the tourists here, but when all said and done, they're making it difficult for visas, for opening bank accounts and things like that. Again, I know the reasons why they're doing it, because of fraud and people washing their money. So they're doing something about it. I know they have to do that. But I've still had a few people asking me where they can get a bank account opened, on a tourist visa. And in reality, all the people that I know struggle, and they say on a tourist visa now, it's almost impossible to do it on a tourist visa. You can open a bank account if you're applying for a retirement visa, but the bank account can be opened by an agent, but then it will be frozen, your bank account, so you can't use it once the money's in, etc. Or you've gone through an agent where it's in and out, and the bank account will be frozen until you get your stamp and your passport. Then once you've got your stamp and the passport, say it's been approved, then they will unfreeze your bank account. So that they've been very, very not over the top. I think over the top is a wrong description of it, but they are being very, very careful with who they're opening bank accounts for. And there's a lot of scrutiny and there's a lot of checks going on. So thousands of more bank accounts are going to be stopped when all said and done. And again, with an agent where they put the money in the account and it's in and out of the account within 3 or 4 minutes or so, that deserves some scrutiny. And I think they're going to look at things like that. So it's just another hoop that you've got to jump through when you're coming here into Thailand. And I think at the minute there are quite a few more hoops than they have been in the past 2 or 3 years, which is putting people off. And I think this is the long-term problem that Thailand are going to have, because it's just created a lot of barriers, and you just put one small little barrier in the road, like for the driver's licenses now, where you need to have this and you need to do that, another hoop to jump through. Whereas Vietnam, Cambodia and Laos don't have them hoops that you've got to jump through. It might be a little bit more easier. So yeah, that's what's driving people away in my mind as well, is that another problem. Why do we need to go there? I still love the place. I still sing its praises. You've still got to follow the rules over here, and it is a bit quirky. But once, keep your nose clean and do everything correct, and it's not an impossible thing to do. But it's just like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other. And it's a lovely place to live. According to the other channels, tourism in Thailand is down and continue to go down. They need to drop the baht somehow. Yeah, again, they're saying that the baht is fairly strong. But again, yes and no. I mean, the currency always goes up and down. I remember when I was getting 65 baht to the pound, and at 44 baht, it's well down. And it even went down to as low as 37 baht over the past few years. So yeah, 44 baht, I'm happy with that. 50 baht, you just felt like a millionaire. Some people say that the baht is overvalued, and they might have to do something about it. But the long-term forecast for this year anyway is that the fact that the baht will drop in its value. But that's all to do with what's going on now with America, what's going on with I can't say the words, but the escalation of problems that's going on around the world. That has an effect on all the currencies around the world. What's going on in the UK, the confidence in the UK market, investors and things like that. The pounds had a hammering. The countries had a hammering. Where's the confidence in the UK? That has an effect on the baht as well. So again, there are many things at play, and it's not just the baht that has to devalue to give us more money or more spending power. If England carries on talking England down, then our valuation of the pound to the baht is going to go in a southward direction. It'll go like a lead balloon. So the Thais drive like absolute lunatics, but my driving license won't be valid. That's crazy. Yep, I understand. In the West, our driving standards are much more higher as far as safety is concerned in comparison to Thailand. But this is Thailand. This is their rules, this is their laws, and it's going to affect people. I mean, taking a written test again, whereas before you didn't have to do that. You could just walk in and get because you had the international driver's license, you get it changed. But now they want you to do the test. It is crazy. I 100% agree with you. But it is what it is. It's not difficult to do. And, once you've done it, haven't you? I walked into the bank with 400k. My account was opened in 5 minutes. Okay, you must have been married to a Thai person and maybe he's had a house. Yeah, there's some scenarios where if you're married to a Thai person, or if you have a work visa and things like that, you can go open up a bank. There are certain criteria, but I'm on about the people who come here on a tourist visa and then they want to get a retirement visa. Then there's certain hoops that you've got to jump through. Just applied for my O visa in Penang. Best wishes with that. I hope everything goes well with it. Just look very quiet now, Les. Pattaya, etc. Yeah, my friend's just gone back to Pattaya today, and he came from Pattaya to come and see me, and he said it's very, very quiet. You know, he's in the Soibikau area, and he said very, very quiet. But he got his visa from Lucky's, I think it's called, in Soibikau. I think 25,000 baht he paid to get his retirement visa. Les, do you look at what's happening in the UK and think, WTF? I do, yes. I'm an avid news watcher. I watch Sky News every day. Of course, I'm still interested in what's going on in the country that I was brought up in, you know, and when all said and done, the UK was my home. The UK provided me with education and income and the opportunity to live where I am now. So I'm forever grateful to the UK for what they've done, for what they give. And I cannot blame anybody that's going to the UK, whether they're going the little black boats or wherever. It's a land of opportunity. And let's face it, if we were all in the same position, we would do exactly the same. I've got no qualms of anybody trying to improve their lives. But there are laws and there are reasons why some of these people should never, ever be let into our country. We have no idea who they are, what they're getting up to, and what they're going to do. And the fact that we're paying for that as a taxpayer, I have to keep my nose clean here in Thailand. I have to obey the rules. Otherwise, I'd be put into jail. And you don't want to go to a Thai jail, that is for sure. Or I would be deported from this country. In England, our jails are full anyway. We have no detention centres. We have no deterrent. They're coming across. I mean, you know, maybe I'll come across on a black boat and get put in a 4-star hotel. Saves my hotel experience, doesn't it? Great. How can the UK do that? So, in answer to your question, yes, WTF, what goes on in the UK every day. And I'm looking at it, and I've got to say, Stammer doesn't disappoint. Every day there's something breaking news. He's just get them out. But you see what's going on around the world now, and I'm happy here. You know, I'm the happiest ever been in my life living over here. No worries, no cares, no frustrations. It's an easy lifestyle over here. I can afford to pay my bills. I can afford to live. I can afford to go out and eat. I mean, my electricity bill this month, 565 baht. So about £14, my electricity bill this month. Crazy. You'd pay that for maybe a week or so in the UK. So yeah, you know, for those people who are sick of living where they're living, have a look further afield. You know, there is a better lifestyle, maybe out of your home country, and go and look somewhere else. Go see where your pound or your dollar or your euro goes further and better price, and you get better value for your money. Good morning, Les. 2,000 bored people in 48 hours this week in the UK. Crazy, isn't it? What about Thailand and Farang keeping their nose clean? Some are a disgrace. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you 100%. But put alcohol, women, and, you know, inhibitions aside, it happens no matter where you are in the world. What about the lager louts that go to Benidorm and Fuengirola? The lager louts. the people that go on drinking binges like in Prague and Budapest and stuff like that, whenever the football matches are on, like in Europe, drinking, bad behavior, it goes on everywhere around the world, not just in Thailand. You get a few cases that are brought up, and again, they should be brought up. But at least with Thailand, if you get caught doing it, you're deported straight out of the country, never ever to return. You get a black mark on your passport, so you never ever. So at least Thailand do something about it. They don't just shuffle you off, let you sleep it off overnight, and then just release it the following day. So yeah, drunkenness and bad behavior happens everywhere in the world. Alcohol and women just add to the confusion and the disruption of everything, doesn't it? Les, the news about the UK. So watching Sky, remember it's owned by the extreme left woke corporate American company. They don't really cover the migrant crisis. They believe in open borders and net zero. Yeah. I mean, GB News and Sky News. I just watch sort of any news channel. That I would say if I'm watching anything, that's the biggest thing that I watch is the news and current affairs, what's going on. So GB News, and again, there's a couple of YouTubers, and one I watched the other day who went over to Calais to have a look at what was going on, and he did his. Yeah, people don't mention it. People don't, they get a knock on the door nowadays if you're mentioning, the wrong behaviors of people. I have to watch what I'm saying here on YouTube because of, they'll cancel your channel or cut everything up and delete everything. So yeah, it's happening, isn't it? It's just it's crazy that we can't secure our own borders, if you like, and because of the European Court of Human Rights. What was it the other day that the guy? Oh, he'd given up his Pakistani citizenship, so he couldn't be deported from the UK. Now, how stupid is that? Is that some lefty lawyer has said, "Oh, it's rather drastic, but if you give your passport up, because he's been done for a very, very serious crime that he should be hanged for, in my opinion, throw his passport out. Oh, we can't deport him because he's given up his citizenship of Pakistan now. He's like totally British." The lefty lawyers are absolutely hammering the UK taxpayers. The UK taxpayers are their cash cows. I bet they're driving around in Lamborghinis and Porsches and Bentleys and Rolls Royces just on legal aid for these people who come across on a black boat. They have no shame. They don't. Any updates on the rise of the state pension? Again, I'm disappointed. Again, I don't want to keep hammering this guy. It's been 6 weeks now. 6 weeks since the pensions department said, "We'll let you know in a week." And again, I don't want to pester the guy because I know he's upset over it anyway. But I will do a video next week about this, about the state pension still being frozen, because I've got the conversation taped, and the lady that I'm talking to says that this gentleman is entitled to the rise. But here we are 6 weeks later, and he still hasn't got it because he hasn't informed me by email. And, the guy is upset enough anyway because he hasn't got it, and he lived in the Philippines for 6 months, and he was told and better told that he was going to get it, and then they've decided, no, you're not going to get it. So I will do the video, and I will give the taped conversation that I had. What can you do? I don't know, because they won't give you anything in writing. It's just, name them and shame them, and that's what I'm going to do. It's just another shaming exercise for the for the government in how they handle people's money. £41 a week. That's all he was claiming for extra. £41 a week, and then it would be frozen again at that new rate, whereas somebody who comes across on a boat costs the taxpayers £41,000 a year. And this guy who's paid into the system all of his life wants to be able to claim another £41, and he gets knocked back. Crazy. So sorry, I haven't done an update. I just want to do this video. I just want the guy to ring me or send me an email and say, yes, Les, it's worked. I've got it. I'd be over the moon then. It'd be a good video, but with a happy ending, as opposed to doing a video and it's going to be a sad ending, sadly, because the guy has still not got his money. And I know there are other people who watch my videos with regard to the frozen pension method and how you can claim it and how you can get it. They're just all waiting in the wings. And I think what's happened is the government, his answer is going to frighten people away from trying to do it. And it's crazy, isn't it? But I claim my state pension next year, and maybe it's 4 years after I claim it, where it's gone up maybe another 12 or 15%. I will do it, and I will do another video and see what happens to me. But I feel sorry for this guy. He was a pioneer. He was one of the first people to try and do it, watching my videos. And he got all the positivity from the Department of Work and Pensions. Yes, you're going to get it. Yes, you qualify for it. Yes, you do it. Yes, you're going to get it at the new rate once it's frozen. No, they're reducing back to the old rate. Criminal, absolutely criminal. By the way, lads, if you're interested, I just colonized and upscaled with AI old EPS, Hancock's half-an-hour episode. Oh, yeah, that'll be funny to watch that. Hi, Les, I'm afraid gone too far in the UK. There's no way back now. Any hurty words or disguise disagrees with Stammer, Army, and you're in quick sharp. Yeah, it is. Now it'll be interesting to see what happens to them people that went into the Bryce Norton. I mean, how embarrassing. Bryce Norton, all of them airplanes, and then they squirted the engines with red paint. They're going to be classed as not very nice people, and it's a little bit more than hurty words, isn't it? Where she got 31 months for hurty words. These people attacked military targets. So let's see if they get anything less than 31 months for their hurty demonstration. And they reckon they caused £1 million worth of damage because of the spraying paint in the two engines. £1 million worth of damage. How they got in? It's a big embarrassment, isn't it? Bryce Norton, one of the biggest military airplane parkers or wherever installations in the country. Crazy. So it'd be interesting to watch that. The UK only want us to work until we are dead. Sack that. Yeah. Move to Thailand. I'd agree with that. Yeah. Look, motorbike, no helmet. Yeah. Again, because we live in the countryside. Maybe because we have grass verges everywhere. Maybe it's a soft landing if you fall off. But there's loads of soy dogs around here. You know, we get run at by plenty of dogs. How tolerant should we be for first-time travellers who, out of ignorance, clash with local customs? Again, you know. Okay, I'll fire that back at you. How tolerant should we be to the Pakistanis and the Muslims who disrespect our children in the UK, who sit outside of school gates, sit outside of parks and film them and attack our young people? How tolerant should we be towards them? I think a lot more less tolerant than anybody would suggest. It's crazy. There are a couple of YouTube channels that that comes on my feed with regard to where they track down these perpetrators. And I've got to say, 80% of them aren't from our country. And they have of a different skin color and a different beliefs. But 80% of them are that type of people. In the Freedom of Information Act, which GB News published, and it published all the statistics of everything, all the bad things that go on, and the percentage is very, very high to those people who have arrived in our country on a little black boat. I don't want to go down that line. I really do not want to go down that line, but I could talk all day about it because I'm a news person. I like watching the news, and you see what's going on, and it's sad. It really, really is sad. But it's not just in the UK. It's in Australia. It's in Europe. It's in America. It's every sort of Western country where everybody seems to think life was going to be better there. The American dream and all of that stuff. It's sort of the American nightmare. Like with the UK, who would want to go live in the UK? How many millionaires are leaving the UK every week? Crazy. Oh, here's a delivery. Excuse me while I get me delivery. Swaddy cap. Delivery. All to do with me welding. It's an angle finder. Now my wife has gone out. We have a friend's wife who's staying with us for a night or two. So my wife's, because I'm on the live stream, she's gone out with a friend, and so I've taken delivery. But it's an angle thing. Lazada is brilliant over here. It's a bit like eBay. You know, where the stuff is very cheap and it gets delivered to your door. I'll show you what it is. It's for finding angles for doing various things. It's only a bit of plastic, isn't it? But just like Christmas when all of these things come. So there you go. It's an angle finder. Because now I'm going to do the welding on my bench, and it isn't a dead 90-degree angle that I've got to do. So I bought that, and it was 84, about £1.60, £1.80 for to be able to do the angles. Yeah, again, I've started. Well, I've gotten getting all my bits and pieces for welding and stuff like that, and I haven't actually done anything yet with the welding because I've been busy doing the garden and the stuff like that. And it's my birthday next week. Is it next week? Yeah, just over a week's time, and we're going away. So I'm going to start the welding projects when I come back from my birthday, and I'm looking forward to doing that. So I've got all the toys now and all the bits and pieces. I've got one or two more little things to come, all the big bits. I bought an angle grinder. I bought a grinding wheel. So yeah, I bought all sorts of things. But it's good fun, and I can't wait to do it. Yeah, the world has gone crazy. Yeah, even seasoned travelers were once new. A bit of kindness can go a long way in helping someone grow into a more respectful global citizen. I agree, totally. And that's why I do my channel. You know, this is why I help people. And again, if they want any questions answered, this is the place to be. So like I said, your chance to ask any questions. So feel free and ask whatever you want to know. You know, I've lived in Thailand now for 13 years. And funny enough, this month, June, I've been retired for 15 years and I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I've loved it. 15 years retirement and I've loved it. I was thankful and lucky to the fact that I was in a job where I could retire at 50, and I embraced it with both arms, and I've loved every single minute of it. Living from 50-year-old, travel the world for a year, then travel around Europe for another year. So for 2 years, I just traveled, and I just love the traveling. I love the being on holiday. And for those people who are close to retirement, embrace it, because you never ever know how long it's going to last for. Everybody knows how much money they've got, but nobody knows how much time they've got. And that's the one and only thing that you cannot buy is time. So go for it. Retire as young as you can, for as long as you can. Do what you can, whilst you've got the health. I'm 65 next month, and I ache, and I'm slower than what I'm doing. I'm not as physically fit as I was, but I'm doing something about it. I was 118 kilos a couple of years ago, and then I got to 106 kilos, and it was like 105 kilos was my trigger point to go on the keto diet. And they go on the keto diet, and I'm like now back down to 98. And what a difference that makes. My blood pressure at 106 was 145, which is high, and now it's down to 130. So by losing a few pounds, it improves your system as well. So you've got to look after your health, and you know, sometimes it takes something to trigger, you know, your health problems, and you think, I need to do something about it. I was overweight, and I knew I was overweight, so I've done something about it. I'm always overweight. I've always yo-yoed on the diet, so type of thing. So now my go-to diet is the keto diet, and I'm on the keto diet, and it works brilliant for me. So if anybody wants to have a look at what keto diet books I'm on, that's the if you go to my buy me a coffee shop, I've got loads of different keto books on there. It works for me. I've gone down from 118 kilos, and you'll see some of the pictures on their keto books. I'm now down to 98, and I'm planning on going down to 90 kilos. So in your older age, if you drink or you smoke, you know, let's face it, you've abused your body all of them years. Same as me, I was always overweight. Certainly when I left the fire brigade, I was probably 120 kilos, and now I'm 98. And it's only when you get older you think, well, I need to do something about this. So do it sooner than later, because I feel the benefits every day. You know, my clothes don't nip me as much as they used to do. I can get up, I can actually touch my toes now. Sorry, I was meaning more about new travellers to Thailand who behave normally according to their country standards, but inappropriate in Thailand's cultural. Yeah, again, yes, it's the arrogance of some of the people. I've got to say, and some of the Ruskies are the most arrogant people I've ever met. Talking to various YouTubers and people that I know down in Phuket, the Russians, because they have taken a large swathe of Phuket, seem to think it's little Moscow now, and they seem to think that they have the right to do whatever they want to do. And in Pattaya is nicknamed Little Mumbai, because there's lots of Indians, and they seem to think they can do what they want to do as well. So Thailand has got a problem that they were wanting people to come, but inadvertently the Ruskies are putting people off from going to Phuket. So that's going to stop tourism as well. The Indians are putting people off because there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them everywhere. They're even opening shops now in Pattaya, made in Thailand. Every shop used to be Thai people, but now there's lots and lots of Indian people sat running the shops. So the Indians aren't the quality tourists that Thailand are always after. 3 or 4 people sharing one bottle of beer. In Songkran, when we were down in Pattaya for Songkran, there was 3 or 4 Indians with one super soaker. So they were all sharing the super soaker gun, firing the water out the gun. Yeah, quality tourists, but they just shoot themselves in the foot, sorry to say, Thailand, by doing what they're doing. Okay, what else have we got? A new guy who was 270 kilo weight, he died too big. Wow, 270 kilos, that's a lot. I got scammed last week. 2 COD packages arrived, and I just took them, only to find out nobody had ordered, and there was a small bottle of water and once. Wow, yeah. I've known a couple of guys order something from Lazada and paid for it up front and never got the orders. Now I don't do that. I always now do cash on delivery, so I always pay for it when it gets delivered. So I always know something's coming because Lazada send you a pre-message to say it's going to arrive on this, or the Flash or Kerry is going to deliver it on this particular day. So I know something's going to come. And also they always ring my wife up as well before, literally 5 or 10 minutes before it gets delivered. So then I know there's a delivery. If somebody just turned up with something that we didn't know, then we'd check the address and we'd check the name of that. And I sort of know how much I have to pay for anything that's coming. So yeah, you've still got to have your wits about you. The scams going on all over the place, isn't there? Australia just sent the boats back to where they came from. Why can't they? Exactly. But Australia got vilified for doing that against human rights and blah, blah, blah. But it worked, didn't it? And it worked. And this is what some of the politicians from Reform are saying. We just need to send the boats back or not give them any benefits when they come over to England. We've got to do something. We are, almost sending the welcome card. Welcome over to England. Here's the bus to transport. We'll pick you up halfway across the channel so you don't have to make all of that dangerous journey. We'll take you, put you on the coach, take you to a 4-star hotel and give you food and give you money, 3 meals a day. Crazy. Hi, Les. Do they have Bolt or any ride share in Rayong? They do, yes. In the sort of centre of Rayong, they do. But where we live here, we're sort of semi-remote here. The chances of getting a Bolt or a Grab are very, 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 very slim. So this is why, if I go to an event with my friends drinking, like if we go to Melonpun Beach from here is about 30 kilometres. There's a couple of nice bars that we go to there that we have a party, or if we're having a beach barbecue or something like that, I will stay in the resort for 800 baht for the night. And so that's what we do. But yes, you can get Bolt and Grab, and certainly Pattaya and like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, the big tourist places, there's numerous ways of getting home. But here, to get a taxi back to my house, no. So that's why I don't drink or drive. I take the car, and if I am having a party, then I'll stay the night in a hotel. No, Koreans, I found Koreans to be nice people. The only arrogant people I've found here are the Ruskies and the Indians. I don't like the Russians are very loud and they think they own everything, and the Indians are just not nice people at all. The Thais don't particularly like them because they just argue over and like just try to get everything as cheap as they can. My wife was having a foot massage the last time we were in Pattaya, and 3 Indians came in and asked for a body massage. And the body massage for an hour was 200. And they asked for a body massage, 3 of them, and the guy said 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 200 baht. The second word was off from the manageress of the establishment. And she was telling my wife, she said that they're like that all the time here. They're like that all the time. Some hotel owners don't like the Indians because they'll book a room for 2 people and 6 or 8 or 10 people stay in the same room. They cause chew and aggro no matter where they are. Paul asks, come on guys, only 32. I've only got 32. Good up-to-date information. Press the button. 32 thumbs. Oh, come on. 76 people in there. Should have at least 76 thumbs up. Thanks very much, Paul asks. Thanks very much. How many million refugees gonna came from India after the Iran attacks by the West? So don't complain about the refugees after you attack their countries. Okay. I'm not complaining about refugees. I'm complaining about the people who are taking advantage of the good nature of the people in the UK and who commit crime. Any nice person, I don't mind. I've no qualms about anybody trying to better their lives at all. But when the criminals come in, do you want them? Let them move in next door to you, then answer that question in 6 months' time. Tell me what you feel about the people moving in next door to you, because I'm sure you don't have any people living next door to you like that then, will you? So therefore, you can't comment, can you? You also, I believe, I probably understand that you will never, ever dealt with the scumbags in the world. I have. In my job, I was dealing with the worst of the worst, the scummiest of the scummiest people, and I see what they got and how they live in our own country. So we have enough problems with our own country without importing many, many others who are of a different belief in our system and don't recognize our laws and disobey them at the first opportunity. So don't lecture me about if we invaded them, why should they come to our country in the first place? Because they just want an easy break, and sadly, the UK is giving in and giving them too much of what they want. Thanks very much, Scott. Yeah, I mean, talking about the scummiest of scummy people, with my little job that I did in the fire brigade, I had to deal with people who used to steal cars, taken without owner's consent, walkers who drove into people and drove into the police cars thinking it's funny, stole people's cars. I had one client that robbed an old lady of £85. He stole a handbag, knocked her to the floor, and what did he spend the £85 on? Many people are going to say he spent the £85 on drugs. No, he didn't. He went into a local tattoo shop and spent 85 quid that he robbed off this old lady for a tattoo. 85 quid. Crazy. And I just wanted to hit him over the head with a baseball bat and cure society of this scumbag that I had to deal with. But that was a part of my job. And I had to deal with people like this for the last 10 years of my fire brigade career. And I've seen what the scumbags got. Avoiding jail. I used to work for the probation service, taking people out in community service. Scumbags, every single one of them, who avoided going to jail because there wasn't enough jail places to put them in jail. Scumbags. And now we're importing the scumbags and dealing with them. Again, another subject I could talk all day about. Les, you get my vote, yeah. It's people, normal, everyday people that have to put up with these things who should be in charge of this country, not the elite. If they're on like 90-odd thousand pounds a year, plus their freebies that they get and all of their, their expenses they get, they don't live in a street house. They don't live in an area where there's going to be flooded by these undesirables, for wanting a better word, are going to live next door to them. And there was a guy that did a video when refugees are welcome, asked every single person that he asked, okay, we've got a register here, would you put one of these people up in your I would if I had the room, but I don't have the room. Not one single person said, yes, I've got room for one of these people. the do-gooders, the lefty lawyers who sort of rape and pillage the taxpayer's purse because they can. Yeah, don't lecture me. I left Australia because these Arabs were left in refugees, and they earned more than me and 2 degrees and senior public servant by receiving welfare over $15,000. And yeah. Kevin, well said, Les. Thank you. Let's. Can you hitchhike in Thailand? No, not really. Nobody's going to stop in Thailand to pick anybody up at all. The world's a stage, Les. Yeah. Hitchhiking in Thailand? No, I would say no. Now, I did hitchhiking when I was in my early 20s. I hitchhiked back from Stansted Airport back to Cleveland, and I did it in 12 hours. And it was fun hitchhiking. You know, them days were so much fun where you could hitch it. But now, nobody's going to stop for anybody. My wife, she said, if anybody's on the road, if they've had a motorbike accident, you drive past them. She said, you don't stop. We always lock the car. My wife's paranoid over stuff like that. I'm there willing to help anybody. But she says, you know, things like that happen all the time. People get robbed. People stage an accident that people's going to stop and then they rob them. I've never seen that or heard of that where we live. But again, my wife's still scared of it. So hitchhiking in Thailand, no. Transport is so cheap anyway in Thailand. You know, you can get, my wife lives in Karat, and 13 hours it takes for the coach to get there, and it's 500 baht, £11 to travel 13 hours on a coach. So it you know, if you need to hitchhike, then maybe you shouldn't be coming here. Maybe you need to save up a little bit more money, but travel around Thailand is certainly cheap. And again, hostels and accommodation is so cheap anyway. Hotel owner in Cornwall has offered £1 million to take refugees, and he refused the government bribe. Respect. Yeah, I respect that. Brilliant. Again, I did a video, and I'll talk about this. Maybe 25 years ago, I had a house that I rented out to the students. I mean, this is 25 years ago, long. So the trolls that are going to have a whale of a time over this, you know, think before you troll me. This is 25 years ago when things were totally and utterly different. I had a house that I rented out to students in Middlesbrough, not in a very nice area, but it was rented out to students. And then the government came along and asked me whether I'd rent my house out to refugees. And they didn't have the same stigma then as they do now. And they offered me £1,000 a year more to rent it out to these refugees. And they were going to rent it out to me for 5 years. So it isn't a new thing. This thing that's coming on, that we're going to guarantee you the rent for 5 years, isn't new. 25, maybe 30 years ago. Now this happened to me. And at the time, £1,000 a year more, they were going to take it off my hands for 5 years. I went to see the solicitor. The solicitor said, it's a no-brainer, Les. You know, no problem. Give it to them. They'll give it back in the same condition after 5 years. I've done a video on it, so have a look about it. And I'm warning people of today, don't do it, because the government will rip you off, as they did to me. So, yeah, they rented it off me for 5 years, and then they give me it back. And I went into the house, and they said they would give it back in the same condition because it was immaculate. Everything was brand spanking new, up to what they wanted. And I'll tell you a story about a pudding fork in a minute. And they give me it back, and I went in, and it was trashed. Not one single item of furniture was it was the grease and the muck, the filth, everything had to be renewed. And I went to see my solicitor, and I said, listen, these are the photographs of this is how they give me the house back. And the solicitor looked at me and he said, Les, government, big pockets, they're going to win. You will lose because you won't have enough money to fight them. He said, take it on the chin. And it cost me £5,000, the same amount of money extra that I got for renting it out to the government for 5 years. I had to spend on renovating it. I was so disgusted and I sold it. The pudding fork story. When I renewed everything in the house, it was absolutely immaculate. And the guy in the pinstripe suit talked with plums in his mouth, had his little clipboard, and he said, "Oh, he says, I'm sorry." He says, "Mr. Pearson," he said, "we can't rent this house off you because it doesn't come up to the requirements as yet." I said, "I've done everything you want. Everything you want." I said, "Draft sealers, smoke seals on all the doors, brand new furniture." Oh, he said, "We want 5 face cloths and 5 pudding forks." I nearly swore then. Pudding forks, he said. I said, "Pudding? These are refugees. These are from another country. Pudding, the one who even know what a pudding fork is." He said, "By the by," he said, "get me 5 face cloths and 5 pudding forks, then I can accept you onto our plan." Went out, bought 5 pudding forks, 5 face cloths, and he ticked the list. He said, "Okay," he said, "we'll see you in 5 years' time." So, yeah. Anybody who's going to do it is going to be ripped off by the government 100%. Absolutely 100%. It's a short-term fix, and the government have big pockets. So you will fight the government at your own peril, and you'll never win. So top marks for the hotel guy in Cornwall. I mean, what's happening in Ireland now is sort of a precursor of what's going to happen, I think, in the UK. Anybody who's rented their houses out to these type of people are going to suffer badly, I think, and I think that's what's going to happen. But that's my own personal views of what I see on the news every day. Less than 1 billion a year to unfreeze all the frozen state pensions, and illegal asylum seeker 204 with 28 billion. Yeah, I agree with it 100%. There's 500,000 people around the world that the pensions have been frozen. 500,000. And again, even if they just renewed it to, maybe it's every 4 years as opposed to do it every year, there's ways and means of doing it, but they won't. This law has been enforced for 70 years, and they ain't going to change it because it means spending more money. The bean counters are in there and they don't want to do it. And it's shocking, isn't it? Absolutely shocking that, the British people are second-class people. British people are second-class people. Right, 1.5 hours I've been going on. 72 people in the house. I don't know how many thumbs up, but if subscribe to the channel if you want. It'd be very nice. Give it a thumbs up because it'll all help with the algorithm and it'll spread the word. Yeah, so sorry for Islanders, the poor people, government, shame on you. Yeah, I mean, again, it's the average every working person who ends up suffering and paying the bills for everything. Anyway, can we get off that sad subject? Because I do feel deeply about it, and I feel sorry for, I've still got family in the UK. I have to put up with this all the time. So shall we have some good news? Anybody got something light-hearted and good to say or mention? Or is there any good news? Always subscribe to you. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm almost at 14,500 now, which is very, very good, isn't it? It's good. I mean, again, I'm helpful for visas and stuff like that. I've helped people relocate over here to Thailand. It's a fabulous lifestyle. I love it. The temperatures is brilliant. It's nice and warm. I mean, here I am sat outside today. I know it's June and it's warm in the UK, and we've just gone past the summer solstice, haven't we? So now every night it's going to start drawing into darkness type of thing. Where over here, it's 7 o'clock. Winter and summer only change by an hour. 6 o'clock in the winter is 7 o'clock on the night time in the summer where we live in the Rayong area. And talking of Rayong, I mean, Rayong is a fantastic location in my mind, as far as affordability and cheap place to live. It's got everything. It ticks all the boxes for me. And it's such a nice place. I've done various videos for those people who've never seen about living costs here in Rayong. And it's a cheap place to live, and it's a nice place to live. We've got some fabulous beaches. We've got Koh Samet, which has got one of the top 10 whitest beaches in the world on our doorstep, 30 minutes away from where we live. We're going to Koh Chang next week, or next month, on the 2nd for my birthday. We've hired a house. There's 8 of us going, so that should be a big, big party. Paulus, Weatherspoons is still good value. Oh yeah, Weatherspoons will never ever. We have a Weatherspoons in Pattaya as well, which I've never been to, but I will go there one day. I've got to say Weatherspoons is good value. I agree with you 100%. I've just had a roast pork dinner in Kuala Lumpur, about 10 quid. It was good. Oh, I just had, what did I have? I had my keto pork sausages for lunch. Pork sausages with broccoli. And I'm going to have one of these for my dessert, which is a Greek style yogurt. That's my dessert at 5 o'clock. So I only ever eat one meal a day. So intermittent fasting. So from about 6 o'clock on the night until 12 o'clock the following day, I don't eat anything at all. I just have 0-calorie drinks and things like that, which is good. And the weight has come off, and it's easy enough to do. So the keto diet, for those people who are a little bit chunky, have a look at it. Have a look on the keto diet, and it works for you. Any condos for rent in? Oh, there's always condos for rent in Rayong for sure. Hi Les, which company do you use for money transfers into Thailand? I use Wise. Wise is good for me. You get a good exchange rate, and so I get paid my pension into my bank in the UK. Then I transfer. I've set up a standing order, so the first of every month, a set amount of money goes over to Wise, and then it's up to me. You know, if the interest rate or the exchange rate is favorable, then I'll exchange it on the day because the money is then in the account. And for me, you always get a good rate with Wise. And the longest it takes is about a day. If you're doing it on the end of the month, 31st, or the first of the month, it may take a day. But some other times during mid-month, it's there within seconds. But obviously, I can imagine at the end of the month, the beginning of the month, they're moving an awful lot of money about around the world. So yeah, Wise as it's called. It used to be called TransferWise is good. And you get a good rate for that, for sure. Park in Malaysia sounds delish, but didn't think you could get it there. Chinese restaurants or Western bars for pork in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur, we're on about going to Kuala Lumpur next year. Me and Ploy have been together for 10 years next July for me 66th birthday. It's sort of a big year for me next year because then me and Ploy have been together for 10 years. I get my state pension next year, although I'm 66 in 3 months when I actually get it. But it's sort of a big celebration because then I get my state pension at 66. So we're on about going to Kuala Lumpur in July. And there's a non-stop train that goes from Bangkok into Kuala Lumpur. And it's like an overnight train. So it's a sleeper train. 21 hours, I think it is. And it's about $70. So me and Ploy, we're going to go to Kuala Lumpur for our 10th anniversary and my birthday. So Kuala Lumpur and then Penang, and then catch the train back again. So we're away for maybe 2 weeks or something like that. So again, I'm looking forward to that. Kuala Lumpur, I've been there before. I love the place. It's beautiful. The food is very, very nice. And again, another safe country to go to, Kuala Lumpur. So enjoy Kuala Lumpur while you're there. Isn't now that overseas income earned in 2025 can be brought into Thailand thus and next year and not to be liable for again tax, Isan man, the tax is still up in the air, isn't it? There's still, here we are a year and a half after they've implemented it, and the rules are still very muddy and unclear. I went down to the tax office and asked them about my situation, and I'm happy with the outcome from that. It's because mine is a government pension, and the government pension isn't taxed here in Thailand, so I'm happy with that. So they give me the relevant paperwork. So because one day I was told by the manageress of the tax office that it will be linked to your retirement visa or marriage visas, and it's their way of making sure that you paid any tax that you're liable to pay. But as yet, it's still up in the air. There's a lot of admin still to do, and typical Thailand, it still hasn't been sorted out yet. So again, we're still in a not a good situation because we don't know what the tax laws are. So hopefully this year they'll get that sorted out or give it more clarity. There's been talk of it that they're going to put it in the Royal Gazette, and once it's in the Royal Gazette, then that's as it's going to happen. But until now, I wouldn't worry about it. Sort it out when it happens. Cross that bridge when we get to it. It's not pork, it's cat. Meow. But if they make cats taste like pork, then why not? Pork's lovely. Pork and chicken. Udon Thani and Thai have direct flights to Utapao 4 days a week with Lion Air. Yeah, again, I've flown from Utapao a couple of times. Went up to Chiang Mai, but the wife doesn't like flying, so she's never ever going to go on a plane. This is why we're going to go to Kuala Lumpur on the train. We're going down for Christmas this year. We're going down to Koh Samui. Now, to get to the port, to catch the ferry over to Koh Samui is 12 hours from where I live. So we're going by car. We're going to do it over a couple of days. We're in no rush to get there. So we're going to Koh Samui for Christmas. Then we're going to Krabi for New Year. And then just maybe spend a couple of weeks just driving around and see where we're going to go from there. And then obviously it's another 2 days coming back over to Rayong. So she loves the car. She would sooner go in the car no matter how long it takes rather than flying. Of course, this year has been an incredibly bad year for air accidents and things like that. I think this has got to be the worst year for air accidents in the past 10, 15 years, that's for sure, because there's lots of accidents that have happened. So she doesn't like flying, so we'll go in the car. I've got no problem with that. I don't mind driving. The roads, I think, in Thailand are pretty good anyway. I'm not a speeder. I don't drive very fast, so I've always got time to react if anything ever happens. I've got a nice car, so yeah, it's pleasurable. And again, stopping overnight in somewhere isn't expensive, like between 600 and 1,000 baht for the night in a hotel. So we'll set off about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning and drive until about 5, certainly no longer than 6 o'clock, because I don't like driving when it's dark. And then we'll just find out where we are and we'll just book a cheap hotel room for the night. That's what I'm saying. In Thailand, it's so cheap to travel, so cheap to stay in a hotel somewhere. All right. Right. Do the locals working in the service industry expect you to tip since you are a foreigner? No, they don't really. No, they don't. They don't. But I always tip. 20 baht tip. I give 20 baht tip for everything. When the delivery driver comes and delivers stuff, if there's loose change, I'll just say keep the change. If we get some food from a restaurant, we always give 20 baht. When the guy carries the suitcase to the hotel room, I'll give him 20 baht. So 20 baht is probably the most I give anybody, really. It's not expected, but 20 baht is 20 baht. It's not a lot, but it's better than nothing at all, isn't it? I know when I used to run a coffee shop in Ban Phe many, many years ago, the amount of people that came in for coffee never, ever, ever tipped. So it's a big thing. Even the Americans that came over here, some of them, they didn't tip. And so, yeah, it's up to you when all said and done. If you get bad service, we don't tip if we get bad service, and we never go back to eat or drink there again. And that does happen, where you get bad service or you get an abrupt staff member. So you just don't go back there again. But there's some people I've seen, for a 40 baht cup of coffee, they'll give a 100 baht tip. And coming on to like for salaries and wages, the government have put up the work, how much you get for a day's work. In Bangkok, the minimum wage as from the 1st of July is 400 baht. So if you give them a 100 baht tip for a 40 or 60 baht cup of coffee, you're giving them a quarter of a day's salary just for a tip. So, and some of the service, like the guy who carries the bag to your hotel room, how many times he does that day, he could probably earn a salary just on the tips. It's like the drinks in the bars or something like that, or the restaurants, you give them a tip, and all them tips add up, don't they? Flying is still a lot safer than Thai roads. Well, yeah, Thai roads get a lot of bad publicity, but I agree with you. Thailand is the second most dangerous place to drive a motorbike in the world. So I agree with that. But if you're driving safely and in a car, for certainly, I think you're pretty safe. I think it's a lot safer to drive a car here in Thailand than it is in the UK. If you eat in a local place, no. If you eat in a touristy place, yes. I don't know. I would say the opposite for me. I say we tip in every restaurant that we go to. Even if we get noodles, in our noodle shop just around the corner from us, it's 45 baht for noodles. So 90 baht. 90 baht for noodles. So, we always give them 100 baht. Or, say keep the 10 baht change, and sometimes we'll give them 120 baht, so they get 30 baht tip. It's up to you how you feel. The noodles place around the corner from us is very, 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 very nice. The best noodles I've had. And the staff are always friendly, and they know who we are, and we always eat the same type of thing, because I don't like the liver and I don't like the blood. So therefore, they know that I don't have that now, so we don't even have to ask. So we're there that often, and it's so cheap to do. Right, let's have a look. So if anybody's got any questions that they want, please send us an email with regard to, if there's any questions you want to know, or if you want to know any more about the keto diet, I can, direct you to the shop and tell you what keto diet books and that. All my keto diet books, they're only $3 each, and keto is a lifestyle, not a choice, or a choice, not a lifestyle, not a choice, something like that. Thrive on the keto diet, Keto 101, air fryer, slow cooker, $3, price of a cup of coffee, and you get all that information on the keto diet, and you can see yourself. I'm down to 98. I'm not one of these people who say I'm on the keto diet and have never ever been on it in my life. And like some of the people who are on the YouTube videos who are muscly and never ever been fat for one single day in their life. I'm the fat guy who's lost weight, and it's all due to keto, and I can give it a thumbs up. So yeah, send me an email if you want to know any questions, and if I can't answer the questions, then I'll send you in the right direction. South Thailand is approximately 15% of the landmass, but gets about 65% of the international tourists. Isan is 30% and gets less than 2%. Isan getting more Thai tourists. Places like Chan Kun. Where I live, we went to Ban Rak Thai, which is really north Thailand, and it took us 20 hours to get there. So 20 hours. So we sort of in the middle, I think, of Thailand. So 20 hours to get Ban Rak Thai, and Chiang Rai is the most northernest point. So that's going to take it like 20 hours to get there as well from where we are. And down to Krabi, it's 14 hours. So 20 hours one direction, 14 hours the other. So that's how vast Thailand is. It really, really is a big place, and it's beautiful. And there's many, many beautiful places. But the more south you go, the more expensive it is. Koh Samui, it's very, very expensive, and Phuket is very expensive as well. But that's because of the Ruskies. The Ruskies have moved in, and everything's gone up because of them, in my opinion. Had nice coffee. Yeah, the coffee is lovely. Coffee is lovely in Thailand. The good value coffee, I always think, is Amazon. Amazon coffee, it's just basically in every PTT station, that petrol station that you go to, there's an Amazon coffee. So when we do our trips, we always stop at a PTT because invariably they have a 7-Eleven. My wife loves 7-Eleven. I've got to agree with 7-Eleven food is brilliant. Their burgers for 42 baht. Double pork burger with bacon and cheese, 42 or 45 baht, which is just about a pound. It's fantastic. Their cappuccino coffees are lovely, and they are 23 or 25 baht. But Amazon coffees, if you want the real stuff, again, so cheap, 60 baht for a large coffee. Amazon coffee is the best, I would say, best value. Black Canyon, you're paying 100 baht for a coffee there, so we don't go to Black Canyon. And Starbucks, I never ever go into a Starbucks. Overrated coffee, overrated price, very expensive for a Starbucks coffee. So Amazon, you won't go far wrong with an Amazon. Let's have a look. When I say include, I mean they are on the bill as a separate item. Okay, yeah, that doesn't happen that much here in Rayong. But yeah, I know what you're saying, and we'll discuss that. Like in Bangkok, they'll give you the price on the menu, and the price you pay isn't what the price is on the menu, because then they'll add a service charge of about 7%, and then the tax. So it's always inflated. This has happened to us a few times in Bangkok, and but then you don't have to tip because the service charge is already put on. And then it's up to you. If you had bad service or not good service, or you don't want to pay that, then you can ask them to take it off the bill, and they'll take the service charge off the bill if that's what you want to do. But I can't see many people doing that, because if you start complaining that you've had bad service, then the manager will come out and ask the reasons why you think you had bad service, blah, blah, blah. And it's an embarrassing point, isn't it? But yes, they're some sort of high-so restaurants, they will add prices on, or add the VAT on, add the tax on, and add a service charge on. Yeah, that's happened a few times, but we don't go to high-so restaurants. So we've only had that a couple of times in Bangkok. In the Icon Siam shopping mall, that was the first place that it happened to us. And when I got the bill and I questioned it, and then pointed it out that the VAT, then the tax, and then the service charge was all added afterwards. Bit cheeky, really. They should give you the price with the VAT and the tax on, and without the service charge. Les, have you been to Nong Khai? No, I can't say I've been to Nong Khai, not as yet. 7-Eleven cheese toasties, best in the world, and just 37 baht. Yeah, beautiful. Gaz Young, hey up, Les. I know the Huskies have more or less took over Phuket, but didn't realise Samui was the same. Was planning for Samui and Krabi next month. Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Ruskies have taken over Koh Samui as much as they've taken over Phuket, but there is a large contingency of them in, again, Chawang and Lamai. Just talking to various, because you can imagine doing the YouTube channel, I get to talk to many people all over the place, and they send me emails, and because we talk about this sort of on a fortnightly basis, they tell me how it's going and best places to go, and advice of what's going on with agents and what's going on And I've got to say the Ruskies cause a lot of problems, and they're loudmouthed and disruptive, and a lot of places have now, they don't have English as a second language. When you order food, there's Thai, then there's Russian. So that's saying something, isn't it? So no, I'll avoid any Ruskies type of thing, and I'll see where I forget the name of the place that we go, but it's not Lamai or Chawang. It's one of the other beaches that's less touristic, if you like. But I will go to Lamai and Chawang because Koh Samui was the island that changed my whole life view of thinking of Lamai and Chawang. But that was in the days that everything was rustic and old-fashioned, and that's got to be maybe 25 years ago, 2002. Yeah, 2002 was when I first came to Thailand, and then I went to Koh Samui and fell in love with it. And I've only been back a couple of times, and the last time was about 10 years ago. Play's never ever been to Koh Samui, so I said, yeah, okay, let's go. And that's why we're going to Koh Samui. Hello, Les, have you finished the garden? Yes, I have, David. Thanks very much for asking. I've finished the back anyway. We've got all the gravel down. Boy, does that make the weeding so much easier. The fake grass is all down, and the stones have been done. The paving slabs are, the fake paving slabs look like wood being painted down. Next month I'm going to start playing around with that fence there. I'm going to take all of them white slats off, and I'm going to alter that fence. I'm going to do some welding, and that's going to be my first project. So I just get used to welding. I've got all the tools now. I've sort of been buying little bits of stuff every week. So of course I need to do something, don't I? And that's going to be my first project, but that'll be next month in July after I come back from Koh Chang after my birthday. So I'm looking forward to do it. I'm still I'd like to build a little workshop, because my working area, when the sun comes over the house, I will be in full sun unless I move the motorbike and sidecar out, set up my table. So yeah, I've got plenty of projects that I'm going to be doing, and I'm looking forward to doing it. Give me something to do on it. I've got to say, I'm never, ever bored here in town. I've always got something to do. I like my solar, the gardening that I've done, the fake grass, the astroturf, the gazebo that I've done. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever run out of things to do. Any Opsum in Thailand? Opsum, you've got me there. I'm missing that one. How can people compare the cost of living in a country versus country basis when it varies so much by location versus like location? Okay, but not country versus country. Well, okay, of course, there's many ways of looking upon it. The average daily wage here, and it's just gone up as from July the 1st in Bangkok, is 400 baht a day. 400 baht a day. In the UK, we get more than that per hour. So you can't compare country by country. But what I'm saying is that my money that I earn, my pension that I get from the UK, affords me a far better lifestyle here in Thailand than I would ever could imagine to live on in the UK. So that's when I say my comparison, my income goes a lot further here than it would do in the UK. But if I lived in Canada, my income wouldn't go as far probably as it does in the UK. If I lived in Monaco in France, then my income would be very, very poor to live in Monaco. If I lived in various other parts of France, then my income would be better. So everywhere you live, I mean, I love Italy, but Italy, that would have been my first place that I would love to have retired to and lived, but I can't afford Italy. So that's what I'm saying. You look where your money goes further, and the lifestyle that you get, like this house. I mean, the house that I live in here, I was renting it before I bought it for 12,000 baht a month, £260 a month. What property could I get in the UK for £260 a month? Absolutely nothing. My electricity bill, £14 this month, £13, £14 this month. That's what I'm saying. You can't compare apples with apples or oranges with oranges as far as the money's concerned. For me, you look to see where your pound, your dollar, your euro goes further, and you get a better quality and a lifestyle and a better value for money than in your own country. And I've got to say, the amount of Americans, Europeans, Australians, New Zealand, every Western country that you can think of, looking at Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, because you get such a better quality of life than you do in them countries. For those people who are looking, and I'm sure if you're a wealthy person living in America or England or Europe, then you're not bothered about such things. But the average everyday working people who just about manage and struggle, if you look elsewhere, you get a better value for life with the money that you've got. So the rich are always going to be rich, and the rich will never ever come to where I live, because their standard of excellence is far better than mine. But the rich are always like that. Health insurance and taxes huge in Italy. Beautiful place. Yeah, I love Italy. Yeah, I've been to many places in Italy. Les, who owns the house behind you? It belongs to a German guy, so I'm led to believe. But I've never ever seen him. And I don't know. Well, we've lived here now for almost 8 years, and I've never ever seen him at all. And the girl that used to clean the house, she used to go there 2 or 3 times a week. She's now living in the house. So she's maybe come to some agreement that while she's living there, she cleans the house, she maintains the garden and things like that. So if it's a win-win situation, she's got somewhere to live and she takes care of the house, so be it. But again, I've never ever seen him, but that's what I heard belongs to a German guy. But it's a beautiful house. It's got a nice plot of land. It goes up to about there, and it's quite a big plot of land, about double, treble the size of the land that we've got for our house. Beautiful. Hi, Les. Wanting to move to Thailand from the UK, but held up after over a year. Still not sold my house. Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of guys that I know that are struggling to sell the house. One guy's sending his house to auction now because his wife or his ex-wife has sort of put a spanner in the works and said, no, you can't. We want more, we want this, we want that, we want the other. So he sort of given them an ultimatum and turned around and said, well, if you don't allow it to go to auction, I'm going to stop paying the mortgage. Then I'll get nothing and you'll get nothing. At least if it goes to auction, it's sold 56 days, he was saying. 56 days, and it's all done and dusted and all done. So she's sort of agreed with that. But again, people come over here for all sorts of reasons. But if you've got property, I mean, I've got nothing in the UK now, absolutely nothing. My last thing that I sold in the UK was my caravan, because I always intended on never ever living in the UK. When I retired, I was going to build a house in France. That all fell through because when I discovered Thailand is still far better value than it was building my house in France. And again, because of the exchange rate and one thing and another, the price of everything in France, it's so expensive to live as well. So many say Thailand's got more expensive. An example, Philippines is cheaper than Thailand, but is it? Nana Bangkok and same as Buriram as Isan, Nana and Makita in. Okay, I mean, Philippines, yes and no. I've had a friend that I met in England, and he came across, lived in the Philippines, and he's lived in Thailand, and he sort of mixed between that. with living in the Philippines and living in Thailand. He said Thailand is far more civilized, if you like, and far more with the internet, the infrastructure and stuff like that. The Philippines, because the girls over there, you can have a good conversation because English is widely spoken. But he felt the crime is higher over there and that the cost of living is more expensive over there than it is in Thailand. So swings and roundabouts, really. It depends. If you eat Western food, it's going to be expensive in the Philippines and it's going to be expensive in Thailand. But if you eat Thai food, as I do, I like Thai food. Eating over here is cheap. But as far as being expensive, I think the inflation rate at the minute is about 4 or 5% over here in Thailand. So 4 or 5% of something that's actually small in the first place isn't bad, is it? Because if you're paying like 100 baht for a meal, if you want, it's gone up 4%. So 104 baht, which is nothing. But if you have a meal in England and it goes up 4%, and it costs you a tenner, well, then that's a big increase. So although 4 or 5% percentage rise sounds a lot, when it's not on a lot in the first place, then it doesn't go up that much, does it? I'd sooner pay 4 or 5% inflation over here in Thailand than the 4 or 5% inflation over in UK, where everything is quadruple the cost of everything over here. So yeah, it's the way I look upon it is that my salary goes up with the inflation. Okay, this year my salary went up 1.7%, which is probably the lowest it's ever gone up with inflation. 1.7%. But the year before that it went 7.1%, and the year before that it was 10.1%. So that is, as far as Thailand percentage, is like double what the percentage was in Thailand. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it? And like 7% of my salary is a lot more than what I pay for 7% what it costs for everything in Thailand. It's all relative, but I still think it's cheap. Auction your home, yeah. I mean, yeah. Again, putting your house through the auction isn't maybe the best thing, but it's certainly the quickest. You're not getting me. I'm saying it's stupid to compare country to country when city to similar city. So what are you trying to say then? I still don't get what you're saying. What you're saying, I'm a Western salary living in the in the Eastern country. So my salary is always going to go further here than it is anywhere else in the world, isn't it? Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends. If I try to live in England on a Thai salary, it'd be impossible, wouldn't it? So that's what, you can't compare countries to countries. No comparison between Thailand and the Philippines. I thought there was a housing shortage in the UK. I thought if the house was priced at the proper price, it would go no problem. And again, location, isn't it? And maybe the government will end up buying your house off you. Who knows? Because they're looking for properties to be able to put our friends coming from far away. And they'll turn it into a HIMO, house of multiple occupation. So anyway, I've been going for 2 hours now. So I'll give it 5 more minutes if anybody's got any questions. And I'm going to draw it to a close because we're going out for a meal with my wife and my wife's friend. We're going out for a meal. So we're going out about 5:30. So if anybody's got any questions, this is your chance to do it now, or send me an email at that email address that's just along there. And anybody that wants to have a look at my ebooks, and I've got quite a few of them, have a look at that address there, buy me a coffee, and it's like relocating to Thailand, and it talks about many things, where to hang your hammock here in Thailand, what to look for, where to go, what to do. Just a mind of information for the price of a cup of coffee, and it helps the channel along as well. So that's my blowing my own trumpet. I say I've lived here for 13 years, so I've been there, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt to a certain extent, and I always give you genuine information, never give you any duff stuff, and away you go. So okay, we'll call that an end of the day, and thanks very much for all those people who joined us today. Again, a couple of hours, I always enjoy it. So another 2 weeks and we'll do it all again. So thanks very much for joining me. Best wishes. Have a fantastic weekend and talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.